What's up, guys? It's your host, Chris Renne, a voice you've become quite familiar with from another show lately, Pints at the Round Table. My other show I started doing with some friends and some Marines. You should check that out too. But we're not here for that today. We are here for the Chris Renne Show, and I am back and ready to roll. There's not going to be another hiatus, not for a while, not with the winding down of football season, not with the first college football playoff standings coming out, not with all that is going on. A lot of news, a lot of stuff happening. I've been training, the U.S. Olympic Training Center. You ask why? Well, November 10th, I get my chance at redemption. I've waited a year for this. I've waited my whole life for it. I blew a 2-event lead at the last Beer Olympics. But, like the Warriors, I've come back stronger and better and have picked up an even greater player, an even greater asset. It's called 10 to 15 pounds. It's called I can drink a lot more now. It's called a year of college experience. And I'm coming for you. I'm coming for the gold. November 10th, Theta Xi Fraternity House. I will conquer my rightful crown. I'm number one on the big board for a reason. I've been training all year for this. I don't lose. I don't lose at flip cup. I don't lose at beer pong. And I don't lose at all. So, moving forward, the Browns. They fired Hugh Jackson. Long overdue. 3 years, 3 wins, 1 tie. A lot of losses to our division rivals, and a very unconfident head coach altogether. As you watch the Browns over their 1-15 run, their 0-16 run, their 2-5-1 run, his 3-36-1 record is a testament to how little discipline he instilled into his players, how poorly ran and how poorly he planned 4 games. Now, Hugh Jackson's a nice guy. Oh, he's a player guy. You know, people in Cincinnati love him. Everyone who's ever played for him will go to bat for him. He'll get another job in this league, whether it's a position coach or as a coordinator. But will he ever be a head coach again? More than likely, no. He seemed overwhelmed quite a bit. There wasn't much he did right as a coach. The offense wasn't great. He's apparently this quarterback guru. Deshaun Kaiser was terrible. The mess of the 1-15 season was just as bad. His lack of trust in Baker Mayfield throughout the summer was evident. Yes, I understand wanting to play a more experienced quarterback, but seeing Tyrod struggle the way he did in those first couple of games should have been, my job's on the line. Let's make a change here. Let's get some energizing going. Another notable thing was his beef, or as the owner for the Browns called it, discord. Jimmy Haslam referred to what was going on between Hugh Jackson and Todd Haley as discord. That's why I fired both of them. As you can see, both of those two dudes were very power hungry. And obviously, Hugh Jackson did not seem to feel like a comfortable leader. He had to reinstill that to the people below him, and with that, you know for a fact that guy's not a leader. If you have to make people know that you're in charge of them. Todd Haley wasn't about that, and Todd Haley seemed to make it known. Todd Haley's offense wasn't good either. So the firing of those two was not overkill. It wasn't at a bad time. It gives you a chance to get in front and start interviewing coaches before everybody else. It gives you a chance to see what Greg Williams can do as the head coach. It sees what Freddie Kitchen can do, who's been great with quarterbacks. He was Carson Palmer's quarterback coach when Carson Palmer had the career resurgence. Freddie Kitchen will be good for Baker. Freddie Kitchen's a friendly guy. Freddie Kitchen is not harmful. Freddie Kitchen is not looking for the head coaching job. He is looking for this opportunity that he's been allotted by these firings, and he's getting it. He put up 40 in his game when he called the plays against the Lions in the last preseason game. All of this culminating into the rest of the Browns season. A lot of people are like, why did they fire Todd Haley? Why did they make Todd Haley the coach? Well, you idiots. Todd Haley's not a good coach. Todd Haley's a very tough personality to deal with. Do you guys not know why he got fired from Pittsburgh? Todd Haley couldn't get along with the one guy who's made him who he is, Ben Roethlisberger. Oh, let's give Todd Haley the credit. You know who was there before Todd Haley? Ben Roethlisberger. You know who's still there after Todd Haley and playing at a very high level? Ben Roethlisberger. So with that being said, oh yeah, Todd Haley, he's an alpha male. Let's make him the coach. Todd Haley is not as alpha as he may seem. You see these guys all the time. You see these guys, they've got a loud mouth, they talk and all that. If he was such an alpha, he wouldn't have been so intimidated by Hugh Jackson. He wouldn't have had discord. He would have called his plays and he would have done his thing. And he would have been like, yep, well, I tried my best. He wouldn't have felt inferior. That's the thing. He felt inferior when Hugh Jackson talked to him like that. If he was a true alpha, he would have known. There wouldn't have been discord, and he would have the head coaching job. But he's a difficult guy to deal with. He went 10-6 with the Chiefs. Shout out to Jamal Charles for that. Todd Haley's been carried by great players. After that draft, they drafted Eric Berry, Javier Arenas, two very good players that were very needed in that organization. All in all, it was when Matt Castle got signed after the big year. The Chiefs had MVP Jamal Charles level play. It was awesome. That was a great Chiefs season, 10-6. But the next year he goes 5-9, and why does he get fired? Because he's tough to deal with. And when you have a rookie quarterback, when you have a young team, that is not the type of attitude you need. You look at Sean Vay, you see his youthful exuberance. You look at Adam Gase on the Bears. Great looking team right now. Or is Adam Gase the Dolphins guy? Regardless, they're both two. Matt Nagy's the Bears guy. Young, exuberant head coach. Matt Nagy is winning games with the Bears because he's fun and great for the young players. That's not Todd Haley. So the people who said directly after Hugh Jackson got fired to hire Todd Haley, you were blatantly wrong and ill-advised. You didn't think that through. You just thought he was kind of funny on Hard Knocks and he was kind of cool. Do some research. Respect yourself. And don't be an idiot. So Greg Williams is now the interim head coach. What does this mean? Well, that means Greg Williams gets 8 games to show why he should be the head coach. I like Greg Williams. I think the mad scientist gets his guys ready to play. He's not taking on any more responsibility. He's just going to stay the defense coordinator, but now he's going to manage practices. All in all, smart hire. Greg Williams isn't a guy who's going to come into a room and make it weird. Does he swear? Yes. Does he rub some people the wrong way? Absolutely, but not the way Todd Haley does. Greg Williams doesn't need to be the smartest guy in the room. He knows what he's good at and he knows what he's not. And that's kind of the art of the head coach. You see why Ed Ogeron's successful in college. It's the same way. He knows his strengths, he knows his weaknesses, and that's going to keep him going. And if he keeps this defense playing at this level, I think the next coach might even keep him on as a defense coordinator, and he'd be probably okay with that. He sees the talent this defense has. Freddie Kitchen, the offense coordinator. Now, the play caller. He's been around. He's been with Bruce Arians, a couple other coaches along those lines that are great offensively. So they made some smart decisions. Everyone's saying this is dysfunction. Now, this is probably the most well thought out decision I've seen Jimmy Haslam's regime make. You weren't going to get better this year with Hugh Jackson or Todd Haley as the coach. That wasn't going to happen. With Greg Williams there, this defense can continue to improve and all that. And with Freddie Kitchen, you get a non-threatening figure that Baker can learn under. And then when the new coach comes in, Baker's ready. Baker's ready to roll. Golden Tate just got traded to the Eagles. That's awesome. I'll talk about that when I get to my full NFL section, actually. The trade deadline is going to change some things, probably. But back to the Browns. I like the Greg Williams move. I think he's the best choice for the interim head coach. Al Saunders was looked at as it, and I would have thought that would have been a pretty solid one, too. But they made the right decision by getting rid of Hugh Jackson and Todd Haley. Those were two people you didn't need in the locker room anymore. If you were going to fire him at the end of the year, it was good to get a jump on it next. So what's next? As you know, Greg Williams has an opportunity to prove he could be the head coach. Will it happen? I don't think so. I think the Browns want new blood in there. Like new blood. So the big name of the day is Matt Campbell from Iowa State. He's from Northeast Ohio. He played at Mount Union, and if you don't know what Mount Union is, if you're one of my California listeners, it's one of the greatest Division III football powerhouses in the country. They've won a lot of titles. Them and University of Wisconsin-Whitewater have won the last, I think, 18 or 19 titles in the Division III. So Matt Campbell's an energetic guy. He's got a great attitude, and he's going to be the hottest coaching candidate this year out of anybody. When it's the NFL now, you start hearing the names of these top college coaches. Jim Harbaugh, Urban Meyer, David Shaw, Nick Saban. You are going to hear those names. Those names aren't leaving college. Their jobs are too secure. Their jobs are too good. Of all the big names that might leave college, Lincoln Riley is the one. Lincoln Riley coached Baker Mayfield in college. Lincoln Riley might want the challenge. And Lincoln Riley, if you have watched his offense in college, the passing schemes of it are very NFL-like. The schemes itself are not. It's a spread offense, but by using individual isolation tactics on offense, he gets matchup and he makes nightmares. And that's the strength in the NFL that you need to have. That's why the Patriots are so good. They exploit your weaknesses on defense, and that's what he does through the passing game and when he had Joe Mixon through the running game. Lincoln Riley would be a great hire, a sure thing, I'd say, actually. His mind is exactly what you need in the NFL today, a genius offensive mind. And you keep an experienced defensive coordinator like Greg Williams in the room, you've got a tandem that could probably win some games for real. Now, there's a lot riding on it. Is Baker Mayfield the real deal? Nick Chubb's the real deal. I can already tell you that one. Can Antonio Callaway keep developing? Can Rashard Higgins become a true number 3 slot receiver and possession guy? Can Jarvis Landry actually be a true number 1? We don't know the answers to these questions. We haven't had a real coach in 3 years. From the NFL, Mike McCarthy's probably going to get fired. He'd be a good safe bet. He might need some new residences. He might need a new house in Cleveland. All in all, though, the Browns are the first one to fire their coaches. Week 8. Does that matter to me? No, don't care, actually. This dysfunction will not destroy Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield comes from dysfunction. He's like a divorced child. He's like me. Made him stronger. And weaker in probably some ways. He's always got a chip on his shoulder. Me, yeah, and not as much. I think the Browns are in a good place. I think this is the best place the Browns have been in years. And if we get the right coach, everything's going to work itself out. That's what it's about. I wouldn't mind Matt Campbell. I wouldn't mind that. Bruce Arians, try to get him out of retirement. That'd be a good one. You're going to hear Bill Cowher. That's not going to happen. And the reason you don't want Bill Cowher is look at this thing going on with Gruden. You just don't know. I have one more point I want to make. The Browns had been known to be quick and firing coaches unwarranted. They gave Hugh Jackson, 40 games. In 32 games, he won 1. In 40 games, he won 3.5. They gave him plenty of a chance. And if any coach comes in and does any better than that, you can trust me and say this, the Browns are going to give you the time you need to win. Whether it's 3 or 4 years, as long as John Dorsey's there, you're going to be there. Because that's how it's going to believe. It's going to be very similar, I feel, to Jason Garrett, especially if you start seeing 8-8s, 9-7s, 10-6. You're going to keep it there for stability because you haven't had stability in so long. Now, I hope our coach is better than Jason Garrett. But at the end of the day, Lincoln Riley's probably not coming to the Browns. Bruce Arians would be awesome. Bruce Arians and Matt Campbell, the culture would change instantly. I'd appreciate it. I think the Browns are in a good place. I know everyone's talking like it's a bad thing. I do not think the Browns are in a bad place. All right, moving on. I'm going to do some NFL quick hits, as I always do. I don't like talking about the NFL as much as I like talking about college, but I think the Browns were my main priority on this show. And my upcoming segment, Why Your Fantasy Football Team Sucks. But first, are your shipping needs being handled the way you want them to? Is your freight on the right track at all times? Do you need help getting your product expedited across the country? Do you need help on ground freight, air freight, any sort of freight, rail? It doesn't matter. Freight Saver can help you. So give Freight Saver a call and get a quote today. If you haven't yet, go listen to Pints at the Round Table. It's another show from the Mom's Basement production family. It's a fun show. It's a rotating, revolving door host system, and it's a round table discussion. We all drink beer, and we all talk about whatever we want. It's on anywhere you listen to podcasts, iTunes, Google Play maybe, Spotify, and SoundCloud. Whatever you prefer, give it a whirl. Check it out. Hey, what's up, guys? It's your host, Chris Renne. Again, we'll get back to the show in a second, but I just want you guys to give me a quick follow on Twitter, Chris_Renne, and Basement Prod for the whole shows, all the shows. It's a hub for the shows now, and rate and review my show and Pints at the Round Table on Twitter if you want to. If you don't, well, f*** you, I don't like you anymore. Just kidding. Just kidding, I respect you. Alright, everybody, welcome back. Sorry for those messages. It had to be done. So, I made some predictions throughout the NFL. I think I stopped doing these about week 3. It's been 4 or 5 weeks since my last Chris Renne show. I was training, as I told you. And now, I'm back. So the NFL. Everyone, the Patriots, 0-2. Oh my God, they're so bad. Oh my God. Why? Why are the Patriots so bad? Is Brady done? Let me type it in real quick. The Patriots are now 6-2. They complete control of their division. You look at the standings. Oh, can the Dolphins take over? Yeah, no, the Patriots have won 5 straight. The Dolphins, the Jets, and the Bills are all trending in the opposite direction. I said it on Pints. I said it on the Chris Renne Show, episode 23. The Patriots, they're going to be fine. They're going to win their division. They're probably going to make it to the Super Bowl. They picked up Josh Gordon. They got stronger. Julian Edelman came back from his suspension. They got stronger. Chris Hogan's now on a role he's comfortable in. They got stronger. And Bill Belichick, his defense, starting to figure it out. Starting to cause turnovers. Starting to make some plays in the backfield. This Van Noy guy, unbelievable. The 2 McCourty twins, awesome. Malcolm Butler, the guy he got rid of. Everyone's all worried. Oh, he got rid of Malcolm Butler. What are they going to do? Well, guess what? Malcolm Butler, terrible now. Could he have changed the Super Bowl? Absolutely not. He was not covering Alshon Jeffrey. The dude was washed up then. Stop it. Get help. The Patriots are going to win their division. They're going to win the AFC. They're going to go 14-2, and they're going to end up with a better 13-3, and they're going to end up with a tied record to the Chiefs. But guess what? They have the head-to-head. So 13-3 Patriots, 13-3 Chiefs. Oh, the Chiefs are coming to Foxborough, baby. And guess what? In the AFC Championship game, I'm taking Brady. The AFC West is an awesome division. The Broncos are 3-5. It's a strong 3-5, though. The Chargers are my favorite team to watch from the West Coast. Besides the Rams, the Chargers I'm loving LA football right now. Kansas City's been absolutely absurd. All right, so now I'm done with the Patriots. I want to talk about Mr. Patrick Mahomes. I had seen Mahomes play a double-digit games in college because I had heard, let me calm down. I have to think back to the first time I saw him. The first time I saw him, he was playing TCU, and I think he was a sophomore. And there was one play he rolled left and was thrown on the run, and it was about a 45-yard throw to the back of the end zone. And if you ever rolled left and tried to throw the ball 45 yards, it feels like your shoulder's about to rip out of its socket. He made the throw effortlessly, and it was a touchdown. And I had watched Mahomes make that throw over and over again, whether it was rolling right, rolling left, off the back foot, off platform. I saw him throw a 75-yard bomb against someone. I can't even remember, but I saw it happen. Patrick Mahomes is the most talented quarterback from an arm standpoint, I think, to ever set foot on a football field. Him or John Elway are the two. Dan Marino could be up here, but those are my two. I think Patrick Mahomes is the most talented arm quarterback I've ever seen. He's got Aaron Rodgers level talent in that aspect. I think he'd throw it further. I think Aaron Rodgers is a little bit more accurate, but I think Mahomes from an arm talent standpoint, which is the explosiveness of the ball off your hand, is a little bit better than Aaron Rodgers. He's younger too, so recency bias is having major effect on how I'm seeing this. And I never saw Aaron Rodgers make the throws in college that I saw Patrick Mahomes make, so that's how I'm rolling with it. I don't care if you like that opinion. Aaron Rodgers is still a better quarterback. But, dude, Mahomes, this guy can throw. The Chiefs, this is the best chance Andy Reid has at winning a Super Bowl because Patrick Mahomes has the athleticism of a Donovan McNabb, the arm strength of a Big Ben or an Aaron Rodgers, and he's playing point guard like Alex Smith, baby. He's better than Alex Smith. Shout out to Alex Smith though, 5-2 with 5-3 with the Redskins leading the division. Good for him. Dude wins everywhere. Will he win in the playoffs? No, but he wins everywhere. Patrick Mahomes took over for Alex Smith, a guy who's made the playoffs 5 years in a row. A lot of pressure riding on him. He's lived up to every ounce of expectation that he needed to live up to. All in all, Patrick Mahomes. He's leading the way. Now, don't get me wrong. Tyreek Hill, Kareem Hunt, Travis Kelce, Sammy Watkins. He's got 4 great weapons that have all been utilized to perfection by Andy Reid. But he still has to do it. He still has to go out there and get the job done. And he's doing it. And he's doing it at a high level. He's doing it at an MVP level. I like it. My MVP right now, though, is probably Todd Gurley, and then Mahomes, then Jared Goff. Those are my 3. Those are my top 3, and Tom Brady's probably 4. The NFC is a 2-team battle right now. The NFC standings are led by the Saints and the Redskins are 5-2. Stand me corrected. The Redskins are 5-2. The Rams are 8-0. The Bears are 4-3, and the Vikings are 4-3-1. I love the Vikings. I think the Vikings are going to end up winning 11 games this year. They'll probably go 11-4-1. I think the NFC, the North is going to be insane coming down the stretch. I want you all to know that. I'm betting my money on Kirk Cousins, not Trubisky, though. And the Vikings roster, not the Bears. The Packers probably looking like 8-7-1, and Mike McCarthy's probably going to be gone, like I said earlier. The Lions 8-8, 7-9 probably. Either way, it's going to be a very well-rounded division. The Saints and the Panthers. Cam Newton's playing like an MVP. Drew Brees is playing out of this world. You get Mark Ingram back, and he's been just an extremely consistent running back to lean on. Alvin Kamara is still with the big plays, the catches out of the backfield. Julio Jones needs to start scoring touchdowns. I'll get to that one in a minute. The Jaguars fell off. The Texans are there. And, the Texans are leading, but this division seems like the winner's going to be 9-7. Just going to be honest in the AFC South. I think the Steelers are going to win the AFC North. I think the Chiefs and the Chargers are going to both make the playoffs, and I think the Patriots are going to go undefeated in the division the rest of the way. It's pretty straightforward at this point, except the NFC North, and I'm excited for the playoffs already. I really am. This has been one of the more entertaining NFL years in a long time. I think there's actual parity. I do think the Patriots are still going to win the Super Bowl, but I think there is parity. And I want the Rams to win the Super Bowl. They're my favorite team to watch outside the Browns. And Jared Goff is a quarterback I bet on when he got drafted. His team's 8-0 right now. His team was great last year. And I don't think they're where they're at without Jared Goff. I think Todd Gurley's great. And I think Todd Gurley's playing at an MVP level. But without Jared Goff, I don't think they're 8-0. It's not a knock on Wentz, but I always thought Jared Goff was going to be the better quarterback. And he got Sean McVay, and that's awesome. The Eagles are very dysfunctional right now. I think that's leading them to struggle. All in all, I think it's going to be a Rams-Patriots Super Bowl, and I think it's going to be similar to last year's, where it was a very high-scoring affair. That's my prediction for the rest of the year. The Vikings win the North, the Saints win the South, the Panthers make the playoffs, the Rams make the playoffs, the Redskins win the NFC East at 12-4. My last wild card here will probably go to the Vikings or the Bears, whoever ends up losing that division. And that's my 6 in there. And then the AFC East, or the AFC, the Patriots win their division, number 1 seed. Chiefs win their division, number 2 seed. Chargers, first wild card. Steelers win their division. Bengals are the second wild card. Bingo, bango, bongo. And I'll go with the Texans winning the South. Forward, onward, and upward. I've been waiting to do this for a couple weeks now, but I really wanted to get on a win streak in fantasy before I made the bold decision to make a segment called Why Your Fantasy Football Team Sucks, and how you can make some changes and finish off strong and avoid your last place punishment. Alright, so throughout the year, it could have started from the beginning with a terrible draft. You could have had some players get injured before the season started. Or you're just not good at picking players. My issue was the draft I got very drunk for. I drank a 6-pack of Lagunitas and was very malleable to opinion and said, you know what, I could win this league with a terrible draft. I was wrong. Jerick McKinnon got hurt. I had some receivers that did not play up to my standards. I have been making money moves for the last 8 weeks, and they have been working. And now I'm 3-5. I started off 0-5. I was in very much last place. A lot like a lot of you listening to this show probably. Coming back to it. How can you close out your season and avoid last place? Or win the league, depending on how bad you are. If you're 4-4, you still got a shot, man. So I'm 3-5, so my shots at winning the league are pretty out of date. But I am still competing to remove myself from dead last. I now have a 2-game lead over last place, which is awesome. I'll check the standings for y'all right now. I won last week with the lowest scoring game in our league this season. I am tied for last in my division, but I'm working my way up. And there is a 3-team battle for last place right now in the other division, with Team Pretzel at 2-6, House Cook at 1-7, and Team Girding at 1-7. Now I'm 3-5 because I made the corrections I'm about to tell you. I was down there with Girding, I was 0-5. I was down there with House Cook, I was 0-5. I was down there with Team Pretzel, I was 0-5. But now, I'm 3-5. About to be 4-5. Because my matchup this week is not ready for this bitch. Let's go check. Let's see who I'm playing in week 9. Oh, I'm playing undefeated Cruz, who's got Todd Gurley, and my best running back is on bye. So, got some work to do. Yeah, it's not looking good. It's not looking good. I think my win streak's going to end, boys. But for you guys who aren't going to be playing the best team in your league the next week, I want to help you out. So I do 3 things every week. I go check out my matchup. All right, so this week Kirk Cousins playing Detroit. I'm going to start him. I look at who all my players are playing. It's simple. It's a simple correction. But when you're picking up players and you're seeing what players need to be played, it takes a lot. So obviously Julio Jones is moving in to start at wide receiver because he's my number 1 pick, and I'm going to live and die by that man. Nextly, do I bet on Deshaun? So at this point in the league, all the best players are locked up, and they're not going to be traded. It's week 8. So you really do have to go work the waiver wire. The biggest keys on the waiver wire, matchup, like I said. So Javarius Allen, the top running back on the waiver wire, playing Pittsburgh. Hasn't scored a touchdown in a couple weeks. Prior stats, very important. So since Javarius Allen hasn't scored a couple touchdowns in a week or so, there's a good chance he gets the ball in the red zone. He's been a very good receiving back and all that. Derrick Henry's playing Dallas. Very inconsistent player, Derrick Henry, this year. But Dallas's run defense has been very inconsistent this year. Frank Gore against the Jets. Don't trust it. D. Booker had a huge game last week. After huge games, do you want to bet on them again? Depends on who their competition is. Who else is a running back on the Broncos? Royce Freeman, unavailable. Phillip Lindsay is still the starter, but they're playing in a way that it's going to be the hottest man on the field, Jaquiz Rodgers on the Buccaneers could be solid with Ryan Fitzmagic being back. Never pick up a fullback, though. Very, very rare. Maybe in a 14-team league. If your league's PPR, you want to pick up slot receivers off the waiver wire. Adam Humphries and Danny Amendola. Josh Reynolds on the Rams. Jermaine Kearse has been coming of age. Kelvin Benjamin made a few big catches on Monday. Zay Jones getting better with a real quarterback in the lineup. They didn't score any touchdowns, but they're coming. Slot receivers are a way to go in PPR. I gambled last week. I picked up Jordy Nelson. Did not work. But it paid off that I was playing the team in last place. All right, so my next step of advice, see your matchup. So now I know I'm going against the best team in the league. So when it comes to picking my players, if I'm picking between, say, I'm not going to be picking between Jordy Nelson because I'm dropping him, but say I'm picking between Jordy Nelson and Deshaun Jackson. Well, at the high end for a Jordy Nelson game, you're going to get 15 points right now. Maybe 10 catches, 50 yards, or 5 catches for 90 yards. Deshaun Jackson could go off for 180 yards receiving on like 6 catches with a touchdown. That's 30 points. That's his high end. It's a boom or bust. It's a projection they give you on ESPN. So when you're playing a team that's projected to outscore you by 20 points, you put in the players with the same projections, the one with the bigger boom prospect projection. The boom prospect projection. So this week, more than likely, I will be starting Deshaun Jackson You look at matchups. Doug Baldwin playing Los Angeles Chargers. I like that more. I got Taylor Gabriel on my flex right now playing Buffalo, and I'm going to have to find a new running back this week because my best running back's on bye. So this is going to be bad. I've been playing a week-by-week defensive basis. If you can, pick up the defense that's playing Buffalo. A defense that's playing the Browns. A defense that's playing... I was going to say Tampa Bay when they had Winston, but Fitzmagic, you never know. A defense that's playing the Jets. A defense that's playing San Francisco. Their team's not great, but they're also playing the Raiders, whose defense isn't great either. I played the Colts against the Raiders, and it didn't work out. Derek Carr's still a pretty good quarterback. The Saints against the Rams, don't ever play the defense that's playing the Rams. I'm just going to tell you that. But if you've got an offensive player playing the Rams and you think they're going to put up the points, take a risk. I don't like my matchup Falcons against Washington, so I'm not going to make that move. I'm going to go Dolphins versus the Jets this week. That's going to be my waiver claim. I'm going to drop the Colts D. I'm going to claim the Dolphins. And that's going to add to my point total. I'm going to edit my lineup. I don't have another running back to currently edit my lineup with, but I will be dropping a slot receiver. I know who I'm dropping. I already told you guys. It's Jordy Nelson. Don't trust Jordy Nelson right now. The Redskins are playing Atlanta, but you never want your defense to be playing players you have on your team because it pretty much negates each other. If Julio Jones scores a touchdown against the Redskins, well, I lose points on that defense. So you don't want that. You don't. So moving to week 9. I'm projected for 99 points. I still don't have a running back in. My highest projection will probably be about 110, like I said, which I'm fine with. That's not the issue. Betting on Kirk Cousins or Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is playing New England defense. I told you this earlier. New England's defense is getting better. It's getting hot. The Packers need that game, though, so it's a tough decision. I'd always say the safe bet's Rodgers, but the money bet's Kirk Cousins. If you want to win, now you're doing daily fantasy, I'd take Kirk Cousins. He's going to be a little cheaper, but a higher boom prospect. Fantasy is a strategy game. It really is. In PPR, it's a little bit different. You have a wider depth of players, a lot wider depth of running backs, and you could get a diamond in the rough like a Peyton Lindsey, a Ty Montgomery, a guy who catches balls out of the backfield, to get 15, 20 points. All in all, there's not much you can do. It's about making the smart moves. It's about looking at the defenses. And it's not about looking at the projections. It's about looking at the matchups and who they're playing. If Taylor Gabriel is playing a team that's giving up a lot of yards to slot receivers, Taylor Gabriel's the guy you want to go with because he's a very dynamic slot receiver. When you have a guy like Julio, you go with Julio. Don't overthink it. Best case scenario, you're getting 8 catches for 90 yards at 17 points. It's safe. You know, when you're playing a team that's better than you, don't be scared to go with the boom or bust guy. If you're more than likely going to lose, take the chance. Try to shoot the shot and win. That's what I've been doing. That's what I've been doing with my moves. It's worked. I took the boom or bust guy. 20 yards receiving, 2 catches, but a touchdown, 10 points. It was the difference of the game. The boom or bust guy, if I played the other guy, it was 5 points. I would have lost by 0.1. I would have lost. I won by 0.1 because it was 5 points. I would have lost. Trust yourself. Well, unless you're really bad, then don't trust yourself. Do the opposite of what you think, and you'll be fine. But your fantasy football team is savable. And if you want advice, tweet me or text me. I don't care, because if you're listening to this, you probably do have my phone number. College football. Alabama's the team. I'm going to keep this short. Alabama's so much better. Tua Tagovailoa, 25 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Their defense, ferocious. Their offense is so balanced, it hurts. It's efficient. I never thought I'd see the day. Where you get an Alabama defense with the most premier offense in college football. It's over. And it's over for another year. Oh, no. You guys remember, I think it was week 3. I said, hey, you're Clemson. Kelly Bryant, struggling. You got a freshman. A freshman with a .9988 composite rating on 24/7 Sports. A Jadeveon Clowney level prospect, but at quarterback. Trevor Lawrence, same class as Tua. No, it was a class after Tua. Higher rated prospect than Tua. Throws one of the prettiest balls I've ever seen, but has one of the worst faces and ugliest haircuts I've ever seen. Trevor Lawrence. What did they do? They started Trevor Lawrence. Last couple weeks, they've scored 50+, and their defense has been Clemson. Their defense has been Clemson's defense. But now that they got the weird guy that does the splits gone, I'm okay with that. Clemson's a surefire number 2 team right now. It's not even close. And then the gap separates. And then LSU, Michigan, Ohio State, UCF. There's 8 or 9 teams down that way that are pretty good, but I don't think they're at the level of Alabama and Michigan yet. But there's 4 weeks left. Being an Ohio State fan, I want to jump the gun right here. Michigan's defense is for real. Do I believe in Shea Patterson? No, I've called him a beta male for 8 months now. I don't think he's going to win a big game against the Tua Tagovailoa. I don't think he's going to win the big game against Ohio State. I don't think he's going to win against Penn State this week. I really don't. I don't believe in him. I don't believe in Shea Patterson. I believe in that defense. I believe in their running game. I believe in Donovan's Peoples-Jones. He's for real. Shea Patterson makes all throws, but you saw it against Notre Dame. Struggled at the biggest stage on the road. He's going into Happy Valley. Can he do it? We'll see. Now, the big question here, Ohio State lost to Purdue. Ohio State still has the second most talented roster in the country. It's about figuring out the right positioning for all these individuals. The linebackers have struggled. The linebackers seem to not know what they're doing. The offensive line's been soft, and I think this week off came at the perfect time. If we lost and didn't have a bye week, I'd be a lot more worried, but the Ohio State lost and have a bye week. And Urban Meyer's corrections after bye weeks, regardless of if we won or lost before it, and Ohio State's always come out a better team. So Ohio State still controls their own destiny, still can win the Big Ten. Michigan looks a little better right now. Got to be honest there. I do think Michigan's going to lose to Penn State. And then guess what? Ohio State's now back into the driver's seat of the Big Ten. I think the matchup in that's huge. LSU's losing this weekend to Alabama. And I want to also get out and jump this. People are like, oh, we need Alabama to lose. A one-loss Alabama doesn't get in over one-loss Alabama non-conference champion doesn't get in over a one-loss conference champion Ohio State. No, that's a lie. I can tell you right now, that's a bull-faced lie. It happened last year. We had 2 losses. Yes. Correctamundo. We did. This Alabama team, they slip up. Whoop-de-doo. They're still getting in. One loss doesn't matter. No conference championship doesn't matter. This Alabama team's the best football team I've seen in like 5 years. So, the best bet for Ohio State getting into the playoff is Alabama beating LSU. And Alabama going undefeated and beating Georgia. Because there's no way a 2-loss SEC team's getting in over a 1-loss Ohio State Conference champion. That's a guarantee. Absolutely no questions asked. When it's against Bama, when you're competing against Bama and another SEC team with 1 loss, there's no guarantees there. But if Bama goes undefeated and Clemson wins out, there's 2 spots. We beat Michigan, Alabama beats Georgia, Alabama beats Georgia, Alabama beats LSU, Alabama beats Auburn, Alabama beats everybody the rest of their way. They're in. Clemson, if they lose, probably still in. Just saying. You get to that third place. Notre Dame undefeated. There's the third spot. Oh, in the fourth spot, I guess Ohio State, 1 loss. They beat Michigan. They won the Big Ten. UCF, they're undefeated. They won the American Athletic Conference Championship. Could they have beat Purdue? I bet they could beat Purdue. Could Ohio State beat Purdue 99 out of 100 Saturdays? I'd say yeah. I'd say so. I think Purdue had the perfect storm. But if Notre Dame, if Alabama, if Clemson wins out, they're a sure thing. A 1-loss Notre Dame's not getting in over a 1-loss Ohio State, I'll tell you that. Their schedule is tough, don't get me wrong. No conference championship. Direct head-to-head competition. They beat Michigan, we beat Michigan. Whoop-de-doo. That's fine. Similar result. Yeah, college football is far from over. It's complete opposite of the NFL, where I think I have a grasp of the 12 teams that are going to make it in the NFL. I have zero idea who the 4 are going to be. The only threat really is Oklahoma. Oklahoma's kind of the only team in Ohio State's way right now. If Alabama wins out, if Clemson wins out, Notre Dame wins out, Oklahoma's the only thing in between Ohio State and the playoff. And Oklahoma's loss was a lot better than Ohio State's loss, I'll tell you that. I'll tell you that right now. Losing in the Red River rivalry, tongue twister. But, all in all, UCF, you need to calm down. I hope you lose out, you skanks. 5 games left. Let's see who you play. Oh, Temple should be a dub. If you lose it, you're done. Navy, having a rough year. Need an upset. They've been known to do it. You're done. You lose. Cincinnati, they were undefeated coming into last week. 2 weeks from now, Luke Fickell, his defense coming after you. Mackenzie Milton, done. You lose that game, you're done. USF, Blake Barnett, been playing great. The defense, awesome. Lost a close one last week. Ed Oliver took control of that game. Late. Ended up becoming a blowout real fast. UCF, going to be hungry. Charlie Strong's going to get those boys back going. You lose to that team, you're done. UCF, you've got no margin for error. And even with no margin there, you're probably not getting in. And if you got in, I could guarantee Alabama's not taking it lightly on you after all that bear poking you've been doing. You're going to lose by 100 points. It's going to be the worst game in playoff history if UCF makes it. Alabama still wants revenge on Ohio State. That one will probably get ugly. I'm going to be honest. With where Ohio State's at now, if they make the playoffs, not going to be pretty. Oklahoma's probably got the best chance to beat in Alabama, just because how explosive their offense is. I think Clemson's defense, but I think Clemson loses the battle. I think Tua is better than Kelly Bryant. I think the offense is better. So right now, I think it's looking like it's Alabama or nothing. I really do want to think of a way it doesn't happen. The only way it happens is if Jalen Hurts is a quarterback, and guess what? Jalen Hurts is 26-2 as a starter. It's not like you're dropping off this crazy cliff to some guy you never heard of like Clemson would be right now. Yeah, no, I mean, everyone's like, Ohio State season's over. You overreacted, man. They had a bye week. They're fully prepared. You're about to see Ohio State beat Nebraska by 35 points this week. It'll probably be 55-22. And that's 33 points, but Ohio State's offense is going to tear apart Nebraska's defense. Its inexperience is not great. The defense is going to come out a little slow and shaky like they have, but they're going to settle in, and I think they're really going to start making some plays, and you're going to see them play their most complete 3 quarters of football. The first quarter is going to be a little rough, but I think after that, the defense is going to settle in and it's going to get scary throughout the end of the year. I think Brian Lewerke is going to be he's going to be in some big trouble with Ohio State. And then when I am at the game, we'll see. Because we go Nebraska, we go Michigan State, and then you got Maryland. And at the defense, if you can't figure out your defense in those 3 games, you don't deserve to be in the playoff, period. There's a good chance Ohio State wins all 3 of these by a lot of points combined. And then they beat Michigan in a very, very tightly contested game. It's probably going to be the best game in a long time because of the playoff implications. So I'm excited. College football is going to be fun. I'm going to wrap it up. The Dodgers, they blew it. Fug, Manny Machado, thank God he is not a champion. And I hope he lost a lot of money with what he said and what he was saying and how he performed in the postseason. They made a deal with the devil when they made that deal. And they forgot they're playing the devil in Boston. And Boston did it. They did their job. They were the best team in baseball, and they finished the season as the best team in baseball. You had nothing but respect for them this year. They're actually a pretty likable team, to be honest. Steve Pearce is the MVP. Can't really hate on that. From here on out, I think I'm going to be doing this again every Tuesday. I'll be recording around 10, 11, releasing about 2:30, 3 o'clock. And then showering and going to class. And then I will be waiting for your guys' reviews to come in. I've got a 4.5 right now. Let's get me back up to a 5. Thanks, Cuzzo. Go Bucks. Go Browns. And shout out to Greg Williams, the mad scientist, for getting another shot to lead a team. All right, hope you enjoyed it. Catch me on Pints at the Round Table Thursday. Deuces, your boy's out.